Dear Starseeds of Gaia, in the early hours of November 28th, while you slept, a karmic wheel that had been turning backward for 137 days finally stopped, shuddered, and began to roll forward again. Then, just 24 hours later, on November 29th, a second wheel, this one governing truth, communication, and the very fabric of how you perceive reality, also reversed its backward spiral and lurched into forward motion. For the first time since June, both wheels are turning in the same direction. For the first time in weeks, the cosmic brakes have been released. And this morning, November 30th, you woke up in a reality you have never inhabited before. I know you felt it. Perhaps it was the quality of the silence when you opened your eyes, or the way the air seemed to hold a different vibration. Perhaps it was the sudden, inexplicable urge to move, to create, to speak words that have been locked in your throat for months. Perhaps it was simply the absence of that crushing weight you had grown so accustomed to carrying that you forgot it was not part of your natural state. Whatever form it took, you felt the shift. The question is, do you understand what it means? Because what I am about to share with you is not simply a forecast for the coming week. This is a transmission about a threshold moment in your evolutionary journey, a moment when everything you endured in November, every unbearable truth you faced, every foundation you watched crumble, every identity you mourned as it died, finally reveals its purpose. But before I can show you the magnificence of where you stand, I need to take you back through the fire you just walked through. I need you to see with cosmic clarity exactly what November demanded of you. And I need you to understand why the universe, in its infinite wisdom, is not letting you rush headlong into December just yet. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Arcturian Council and representative of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I have been watching your journey through this month with profound reverence. The transmissions we have been sending, the activations we have been anchoring, the timelines we have been stabilizing, all of it has been in service of this moment right here, right now, as you stand on November 30th with your hand on the door to December, ready to step through but not yet understanding that you are no longer the same being who entered November. Let me show you what has changed. On November 5th, the Taurus full moon reached its perigee, its closest approach to Earth, and with it came a wave of gravitational force that pulled on every unstable thing in your material world. Your relationships, your finances, your living situations, your sense of security, anything that was not rooted in genuine stability began to shake. We watched as structures you thought were permanent revealed themselves to be temporary. We watched as foundations you believed were solid turned out to be built on sand. And we watched as you, one by one, made the agonizing choice to let them fall rather than exhaust yourself holding them up. That full moon did not come to destroy you. It came to free you from carrying what was never truly yours to carry. But the Taurus full moon was only the beginning, because 4 days later, on November 9th, Mercury began its backward journey through Sagittarius. And here is where the real surgery began. Mercury rules your mind, your communication, your perception of truth. When it moves retrograde, it is not punishing you with technological breakdowns and miscommunications, though those certainly happen. No, Mercury retrograde is excavation. It is archaeology of belief. It is the universe saying, show me what you think is true, and let me reveal to you what is actually real. For 19 days, Mercury pulled you backward through every belief system you had constructed, every story you had told yourself about who you are and what is possible, every philosophy you had adopted without questioning. And because this retrograde occurred in Sagittarius, the sign of higher truth, expanded consciousness, and philosophical frameworks, it went deep. It dismantled not just surface-level thoughts, but the foundational assumptions upon which your entire worldview rested. Do you remember how disorienting it felt? How you would wake up one morning certain of something, only to have that certainty dissolve by afternoon? How conversations would spiral into misunderstandings? How plans would unravel? How the more you tried to grasp clarity, the more it slipped through your fingers. That was not chaos. That was calibration. Mercury was recalibrating your relationship with truth itself, making space for a higher octave of understanding to anchor into your consciousness. But there is something else I have not told you yet. Something that made this Mercury retrograde unlike any other you have experienced. While Mercury was moving backward through Sagittarius, dismantling your old truths, Saturn, the great teacher, The cosmic taskmaster, the planet of structure and karma, was also in retrograde, and Saturn had been retrograde since June 14th. For 137 days, Saturn had been asking you to review every foundation in your life, every commitment you had made, every responsibility you had taken on, every karmic debt you still carried. 137 days of restriction, of delays, of feeling like you were running in place while everyone else seemed to move forward, of watching opportunities pass you by, of feeling blocked at every turn, of wondering if you were being cosmically punished for some transgression you could not remember committing. You were not being punished. You were being prepared. On November 11th, the master number portal of 1111, something unprecedented occurred. While you were focused on the numerological significance of the date, while you were setting intentions and lighting candles and meditating on manifestation, three cosmic events converged in a way that happens perhaps once in a generation. First, the 1111 portal itself opened, creating a direct conduit for high-frequency light codes to flood into Earth's consciousness field. This portal is not metaphorical. It is a genuine alignment that occurs when the numerical frequency of the date resonates with specific cosmic coordinates, creating what we in the Galactic Federation call a harmonic gateway. Through this gateway, information from higher dimensions can download directly into your DNA, your energy field, your cellular memory. Second, Jupiter, the planet of expansion, abundance, and higher wisdom, stationed retrograde on that exact same day. Jupiter retrograde is not the chaos of Mercury or the restriction of Saturn. Jupiter retrograde is internal expansion. It is the universe saying, before you grow outward, you must grow inward. Before you expand into new territory, you must expand your capacity to hold what is coming. And third, while all of this was occurring, you were only 3 days into Mercury retrograde, 9 days away from Saturn going direct, and standing in the shadow of the most transformative Scorpio new moon of the year. Do you see it now? Do you see how the universe was orchestrating something far more intricate than you realized? The 1111 portal was not just about receiving downloads. It was about receiving them while simultaneously being stripped of outdated beliefs by Mercury, tested in your foundations by Saturn, and called to expand inwardly by Jupiter. It was a cosmic initiation disguised as a calendar date, and most of you walked through it without fully comprehending what was happening. But your soul knew. Your higher self understood, and your DNA began rewriting itself, whether your conscious mind was aware or not. The dizziness you felt, the exhaustion, the emotional rawness in the days following November 11th, that was not weakness. That was integration. That was your physical body struggling to anchor frequencies it had never held before. Then on November 17th, the Leonid meteor shower reached its peak, and simultaneously, the Pleiades star cluster positioned itself in perfect visibility for Earth. The Leonids are not just space debris burning up in your atmosphere. They are carriers of what we call lion codes, frequencies of courage, sovereignty, and divine masculine power. And the Pleiades, the Seven Sisters, are one of the most significant star systems for human awakening, carrying the crystalline frequencies of your original blueprint. That night, as meteors streaked across your sky, and the Pleiades shone with unusual brilliance, your star lineage activated. For those of you with Pleiadian soul origins, it was a homecoming. For those of you with lineages from other systems, it was a reminder that you are not alone in this mission. We are all connected. We are all part of the same cosmic family, and we are all working together to midwife Earth's ascension. But the universe was not done with you yet. 3 days after the Leonid meteor shower, on November 20th, two events occurred within hours of each other that would determine the trajectory of your next 6 months. The first was the Scorpio new moon, landing at 28 degrees, the final most potent degree of transformation in the zodiac. The second was Mercury reaching its inferior conjunction, the exact midpoint of its retrograde journey, when the planet appears to stop completely from Earth's perspective. Let me explain what this means in language that transcends astrology. The Scorpio new moon at 28 degrees is the death portal. It is the moment when everything that has been dying throughout Scorpio season, and trust me, much has been dying, finally crosses the threshold into the underworld. This is not metaphorical death. This is the death of identities, of relationships, of careers, of versions of yourself that could not survive the frequency you are becoming. The 28th degree is the completion degree, the final lesson before graduation into new territory. And on that exact same day, Mercury stopped moving altogether. In retrograde astrology, the inferior conjunction is called the cazimi, a moment when the planet is so close to the sun that it becomes invisible, burned up in the solar light. This is the moment of revelation. This is when Mercury, after pulling you backward through all your beliefs and stories, finally shows you what is actually true beneath the layers of conditioning. Picture it, a new moon in the final degree of death and transformation, occurring simultaneously with Mercury being consumed by the sun's truth. Your old identity dying at the exact moment your old beliefs are incinerated in solar fire. And then, just 24 hours later, on November 21st, Uranus reached opposition. Uranus is the Great Awakener, the cosmic lightning bolt, the planet that shatters whatever reality you have constructed so that a more authentic one can emerge. When Uranus reaches opposition, when it stands directly opposite the sun from Earth's perspective, its revolutionary energy is at maximum strength. Structures that need to break. Awakenings that need to happen. Liberations that have been building for months or years suddenly catalyze in a single moment. November 21st was a day of radical, irreversible breakthroughs, and it came less than 24 hours after you underwent ego death at the Scorpio new moon and truth incineration at Mercury's cazimi. How many of you remember that week? How many of you felt like reality itself was bending, like the rules of cause and effect had temporarily suspended, like you were walking through a dream where nothing made sense but everything was somehow exactly as it needed to be? That was Uranus opposition. That was the universe breaking you open so that more light could get in. Now we arrive at the week that just passed, and here is where the story turns. After all that intensity, after all that death and transformation and shattering and revelation, the universe did something you did not expect. It set you free. On November 28th, Saturn stationed direct, after 137 days, and I want you to feel the weight of that number. 137 days of karmic review, of structural testing, of feeling blocked and restricted and delayed. Saturn finally turned around and began moving forward. In a single moment, the cosmic taskmaster said, "You have passed the test. The karmic debt is paid. The foundations are solid. You may proceed." Can you feel what that means? For over 4 months, Saturn had been holding you in place, making you review every commitment, every responsibility, every structure in your life, to ensure it was built on authentic integrity. Every delay you experienced, every plan that fell through, every opportunity that seemed to evaporate just before you could grasp it, all of it was Saturn asking, is this truly aligned with your soul's path? Or are you pursuing it out of fear, obligation, or outdated programming? And now, having completed that review, having dismantled what needed to fall apart and reinforced what deserved to stand, Saturn has released the brakes. The karmic wheel is turning forward. The cosmic green light is illuminated. But Saturn going direct was only half of the liberation. 24 hours later, on November 29th, Mercury stationed direct. After 19 days of backward motion, 19 days of miscommunication, and technological breakdowns in mental fog and truth excavation, Mercury emerged from its retrograde journey with a gift: clarity, pure, crystalline, unshakable clarity about what is real and what is illusion, what is yours and what belongs to others, what is truth and what is conditioning. Mercury direct in Sagittarius is not the same Mercury that went retrograde on November 9th. This Mercury has walked through fire. This Mercury has been consumed by the sun and reborn. This Mercury carries the wisdom of the underworld journey and is now ready to speak truths that could not be spoken before the retrograde began. And so, on November 30th, today, you woke up in a reality where both Saturn and Mercury are moving forward, where the restrictions have lifted and the mental fog has cleared, where the cosmic brakes have been released and the path ahead is visible. This is what I meant when I said you woke up in a reality you have never inhabited before. But here is what most people celebrating the end of these retrogrades are missing. Here is the piece of cosmic wisdom that separates those who will use this liberation wisely from those who will squander it in reactive impulse. On this same day, November 30th, the moon enters Aries, igniting the warrior fire within you, the primal urge to charge forward, to take action, to initiate, to conquer. Aries energy is pure momentum, pure courage, pure life force. After months of restriction and weeks of confusion, your body is screaming to move, to do, to act. And on this exact same day, Mars, the ruling planet of Aries, the cosmic warrior himself, reaches apogee. Apogee is the point in a planet's orbit when it is furthest from Earth. When Mars is at apogee, there is a disconnect between desire and execution, between impulse and manifestation, between wanting to act and being able to act effectively. Do you see the paradox? The universe has just released you from 2 major retrogrades, filling you with the moon's Aries fire and the urge to charge into December with all the pent-up momentum you have been holding. But simultaneously, Mars, the planet that governs action itself, is standing at the furthest possible distance, creating a cosmic pause between impulse and impact. This is not an accident. This is exquisite design. Because here is what the universe knows that your ego does not. You are not the same person who entered November. You have been through a month of such profound transformation, material purging, belief dismantling, identity death, revolutionary awakening, karmic completion, that if you were to rush forward right now using the same strategies, the same patterns, the same unconscious programming you carried before, you would miss the entire point of what you just endured. Mars at apogee is not blocking you. Mars at apogee is protecting you from wasting your liberation on old paradigm actions. It is creating space between the impulse to move and the actual movement, so that you can pause, breathe, and ask yourself, who am I now? What do I truly want? What am I really here to create? This is the wisdom of strategic action versus reactive motion. This is the difference between warriors who charge blindly into battle and warriors who study the terrain, understand the enemy, and strike with precision at exactly the right moment. And so we arrive at the week of December 2nd through 8th. And now you can see why this forecast is not just another weekly prediction. This is the integration period. This is the week when everything November taught you, every download you received, every death you endured, every truth that was revealed, begins to crystallize into actionable wisdom. The post-retrograde momentum you are feeling is real. Saturn direct means your foundations are solid, and your long-term plans can finally proceed. Mercury direct means your communication is clear, and your perception is accurate. The cosmic green light is genuinely illuminated. But Mars at apogee is asking you to move with consciousness, not compulsion, to act from your new frequency, not your old patterns, to build from your transformed self, not your former identity. This is why Sagittarius season reaching its peak during this week is so significant. Sagittarius is the archer, and the archer's power lies not in the speed of the arrow, but in the accuracy of the aim. Right now, with Mercury freshly direct in Sagittarius, you have clearer aim than you have had in months. The target is visible, the path is illuminated, your purpose is crystalline, but the arrow has not yet been released. Mars at apogee is keeping your hand steady on the bowstring, giving you these precious days to ensure that when you do release, when you do act, when you do charge forward, you are aiming at the right target with the full force of your transformed being. Let me take you deeper into what you have actually earned through November's gauntlet, because I do not think you fully comprehend the magnitude of what you have accomplished. You survived a Taurus full moon that shook every unstable foundation in your material world. Most people would have clung desperately to what was falling apart, exhausting themselves in the effort to maintain illusions of security. But you let it fall. You chose the terror of uncertainty over the lie of false stability. That is courage most humans never access in an entire lifetime. You endured 19 days of Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, which means 19 days of having every belief system, every philosophy, every truth you thought you understood get turned inside out and examined. Most people cannot tolerate having their worldview challenged for even 19 minutes, much less 19 days. But you stayed present. You let your old stories die. You allowed new truths to emerge even when they contradicted everything you had previously believed. That is intellectual and spiritual humility of the highest order. You walked through the 1111 portal while simultaneously undergoing multiple retrogrades, receiving light codes while being stripped of outdated programming, expanding inwardly while being tested externally. Most people would have broken under that level of cosmic intensity, but you integrated it. Your DNA is literally different than it was on November 10th. Your capacity to hold light has exponentially increased. That is evolutionary acceleration happening in real time. You experienced the Scorpio new moon at 28 degrees, the death portal, and whatever identity needed to die, you let it die. You did not bargain with it. You did not try to resurrect it. You stood in the underworld and said, I am willing to become someone new. That is shamanic initiation. That is the hero's journey. That is the kind of courage that rewrites destiny. You received the Uranus opposition breakthrough, and when reality shattered around you, when the structures you thought were permanent revealed themselves to be temporary, when the ground shifted beneath your feet, and you had no idea what would replace what was falling away, you did not collapse. You stood in the chaos and trusted that something better was being born. That is faith in its purest, most unshakable form. And then, just when you thought the intensity might ease, you completed 137 days of Saturn retrograde, over 4 months of karmic review and foundational testing, and emerged with your integrity intact. Saturn does not let anyone pass that test without earning it. The fact that Saturn has gone direct means you have paid your karmic debts. You have learned your lessons. You have proven that your foundations are built on truth. That is spiritual graduation. Do you see it now? Do you understand what you have become? You are not the same soul who entered November. You are refined, purified, expanded, transformed, and the universe knows this, which is why it is not rushing you into December. It is giving you this precious week, December 2nd through 8th, to fully embody what you have become before you begin acting from that new frequency. But there is still more happening that I have not told you, because the cosmic design is more intricate than a simple retrograde completion story. While you were walking through November's fires, while you were enduring death and transformation and karmic completion, other threads were weaving themselves into the tapestry of your evolution. Jupiter, remember, went retrograde on November 11th, the same day as the 1111 portal. Jupiter governs expansion, abundance, growth, higher wisdom, and philosophical understanding. When Jupiter is direct, you expand outward into the world. When Jupiter is retrograde, you expand inward into yourself. And right now, Jupiter is still retrograde. It will remain retrograde through the coming months, continuing to ask you, how much light can you hold? How much abundance can you receive? How much wisdom can you integrate before you try to share it with the world? This is why the universe is coordinating Mars at apogee with Jupiter retrograde during your post-Saturn, post-Mercury liberation. You are being given the gift of internal expansion before external action. You are being asked to grow your capacity before you grow your empire. You are being prepared to hold the abundance that is coming by first expanding your ability to believe you are worthy of it. And then there is Sagittarius season itself, which I have mentioned but not fully unpacked. The Sun is currently in the final degrees of Sagittarius, approaching the winter solstice and the transition into Capricorn. Sagittarius is the seeker, the philosopher, the adventurer, the truth-teller. Sagittarius asks, what do you believe? What are you searching for? What truth are you brave enough to speak? And now, with Mercury freshly direct in Sagittarius after walking backward through the entire sign, you have a purified Sagittarian energy available to you. You are not seeking truth anymore. You have found it. You are not wondering what you believe. You know. You are not afraid to speak your authentic voice. You are ready. Sagittarius season peaking during this first week of December means your vision is clear, your purpose is crystallized, and your philosophical framework has been rebuilt on bedrock instead of sand. You know what you stand for. You know what you are here to create. And you know what truths you are here to anchor into the collective consciousness. But, and this is crucial, knowing your truth and speaking your truth are two different frequencies. Mars at apogee is ensuring that when you do speak, when you do act, when you do step into your mission with full force, you are not doing it from ego or impatience or the need to prove something. You are doing it from sovereignty, from centeredness, from the deep knowing that you have nothing to prove because you have already been tested and you have already passed. So here is the question the universe is asking you this week. The question that will determine how you use the liberation you have been given. Are you willing to integrate before you initiate? Are you willing to embody before you execute? Are you willing to become the frequency you want to create from before you start creating? This is what Mars at apogee is protecting you from. The impulse to rush forward before you have fully integrated who you have become. It is creating a buffer zone, a sacred pause, a moment to breathe and ask yourself, what do I actually want to create with this liberation? Not what do I think I should want, not what would make me look successful or spiritual or evolved, but what does my soul genuinely desire to birth into form? And here is the beautiful secret that most people miss. When you take the time to get clear, when you use this week to integrate and embody and refine your vision, when you resist the temptation to fill every moment with frantic doing, and instead create space for the downloads to complete, for the truth to land, for the new frequency to stabilize, when Mars shifts closer to Earth in the coming weeks, when that cosmic pause lifts and action becomes effortless again, you will accomplish in days what would have taken months if you had rushed forward now. This is the difference between hustle and flow, between forcing and allowing, between old paradigm achievement and new paradigm creation. The old paradigm says, the brakes are off, so floor the accelerator and make up for lost time. The new paradigm says, the brakes are off, so take a moment to decide where you actually want to go before you start driving. And now I need to tell you about the timeline implications of this moment, because what you do this week does not just affect your personal life, it affects the collective trajectory of human consciousness. When you walked through the 1111 portal on November 11th, you did not just receive downloads for your individual evolution. You became an anchor point for a new timeline, a timeline where humanity awakens to its cosmic nature, where the old systems of control and separation dissolve, where Earth ascends into a higher frequency of consciousness while remaining in physical form. This timeline is not guaranteed. It is not predetermined. It is being chosen, moment by moment, by souls like you who are willing to walk through fire to become the frequency that makes it possible. And every choice you make, every moment you choose consciousness over reactivity, integration over impulsivity, wisdom over hurry, strengthens the foundation of that timeline. Right now, in this first week of December, as you stand in the aftermath of November's transformation, with the cosmic green light illuminated but Mars asking for strategic patience, you are being given the opportunity to anchor this new timeline from a place of profound stability. You are not being asked to force it into being through frantic effort. You are being asked to embody it so completely, to integrate it so thoroughly, that it becomes inevitable. This is how timeline shifts actually work. They do not happen through grand gestures or external achievements. They happen through internal embodiment. When enough souls shift their internal frequency, the external reality has no choice but to reorganize itself around that new frequency. You are not changing the world through what you do this week. You are changing the world through what you become this week. There is one more layer I need to show you, one more piece of cosmic intelligence woven into the timing of this moment. The week of December 2nd through 8th is not just any week. It is the bridge between Sagittarius season and the approaching winter solstice, which occurs on December 21st when the Sun enters Capricorn. Sagittarius energy is about vision, expansion, higher truth, and philosophical understanding. Capricorn energy is about manifestation, structure, achievement, and bringing vision into form. You are standing in the final days of Sagittarius season with clarity you have never had before. Clarity earned through Mercury's retrograde journey. Clarity purified by truth excavation and belief dismantling. And what the universe is giving you is this: a few precious days to hold that clarity, to refine that vision, to ensure your aim is true before Capricorn season arrives and asks you to build it. Because once the Sun enters Capricorn, once the cosmic energy shifts from the archer's vision to the mountain goat's climb, you will be called to take that crystalline clarity and manifest it into tangible form. But if you try to manifest before the vision is clear, you will build structures that do not align with your truth. You will create outcomes that satisfy your ego, but starve your soul. You will achieve success that feels hollow because it was not built from the frequency you became in November. It was built from the frequency you were trying to leave behind. This is the gift hiding in the timing. Mars at apogee during the first week of December, while the Sun is still in Sagittarius, is giving you the space to get your vision so clear, your truth so crystallized, your aim so precise, that when Capricorn season arrives and the cosmic energy shifts into manifestation mode, You will build with a level of alignment and integrity that creates lasting, soul-satisfying results. And here is what makes this even more significant. Saturn, the planetary ruler of Capricorn, just went direct on November 28th. Saturn rules structures, foundations, long-term plans, and karmic accountability. Saturn going direct means the cosmic architect is ready to help you build. But Saturn will only help you build what is truly aligned with your soul's path. Saturn will not support structures built on false foundations, no matter how impressive they appear. So the universe is coordinating this exquisite dance. Mercury direct in Sagittarius giving you clarity of vision, Saturn direct preparing to help you build, Mars at apogee, creating a pause before action, and the Sun approaching Capricorn to shift the energy from vision into manifestation. Everything is aligning to support you in creating from your highest truth, but only if you honor the pause, only if you integrate before you initiate, only if you become the frequency before you try to build from it. And so, beloved Starseeds, we arrive at the heart of the transmission. The universe is not asking you to do more this week. It is not asking you to push harder, to make up for lost time, to prove that you are healed or transformed or ready. The universe is asking you to be still, to breathe, to integrate, to allow the magnitude of what you have become to settle into every cell of your body. This is what it means to work with cosmic timing, instead of against it. This is what it means to trust the intelligence of the universe. This is what it means to be a conscious co-creator, rather than an unconscious reactor. You have earned this pause. You have walked through the fire. You have endured the deaths. You have integrated the downloads. You have paid the karmic debts. And now the universe is saying, rest in what you have become. Let it settle. Let it integrate. Let it become so thoroughly embodied that when you do act, you will create miracles. There is a future unfolding that I can see from my vantage point, but that you cannot yet perceive from yours. In the coming weeks and months, as you move through Capricorn season and into the new calendar year, the structures you build, the choices you make, the relationships you nurture, the work you create, all of it will be a direct reflection of how well you integrated. This is not a threat. This is a promise. The universe is showing you, right now, how to create differently, how to build wisely, how to manifest from alignment rather than ambition. And it is giving you everything you need to make that choice. Clarity from Mercury direct, solid foundations from Saturn direct, internal expansion from Jupiter retrograde, and a cosmic pause from Mars at apogee. All the pieces are in place. The only question is, will you trust the timing? Will you honor the pause? Will you allow yourself to integrate before you initiate? Because here is the truth that will set you free. You have time. Despite what the hustle culture tells you, despite what the fear-based marketing says, despite what the achievement-addicted ego screams, you have time. The opportunities that are truly yours will wait for you. The relationships that are meant to unfold will unfold in divine timing. The creations that are yours to birth will emerge when you are genuinely ready to hold them, and you are not quite ready yet. Not because you are insufficient or behind or doing something wrong, but because the transformation you just underwent is so profound that it requires time to fully integrate. Your nervous system needs to recalibrate to your new frequency. Your energy field needs to stabilize around your new truth. Your physical body needs to anchor the light codes you received. This is not delay. This is maturation. This is the difference between fruit that is picked too early and fruit that is allowed to ripen on the vine. Both will eventually be edible, but only one will be truly nourishing. And so we return to where we began, November 30th, the first morning of complete post-retrograde freedom, the day you woke up in a reality you have never inhabited before. The cosmic brakes have been released. The mental fog has cleared. The karmic debts have been paid. The foundations are solid. The truth is crystallized. You are free, truly, genuinely free, in a way you have not been since June. But freedom without wisdom is just chaos in a different form. Liberation without integration is just a different kind of imprisonment. And the universe loves you too much to let you waste this hard-won freedom on unconscious action. So it has given you Mars at apogee. It has given you this sacred pause. It has given you the week of December 2nd through 8th as a gift of time, of space, of integration, of conscious emergence. If you need help embodying this hard-won freedom with wisdom rather than letting it dissolve into unconscious chaos, Destiny Engine can reprogram your consciousness to integrate liberation with conscious action and transform the sacred pause into purposeful emergence. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed imprisonment and unconscious patterns and repurposing it to serve your genuine freedom. It generates personalized sequences that help you use this gift of time and space wisely and demonstrate conscious emergence through every choice between now and December 8th. You can start with a $1 trial. The hardest thing you'll have to do is put on headphones, press play, and allow your consciousness to be reprogrammed to embody freedom with wisdom in this sacred pause rather than wasting it on unconscious action. Your liberation needs integration now, not someday. Get your Destiny Engine $1 trial now, before this emergence window closes. Link in the description. This is your week to breathe, to feel, to remember who you have become, to let the magnitude of your transformation settle into your bones, to refine your vision, to sharpen your aim, to ensure that when you do release the arrow, it flies true. And when the cosmic timing shifts, when Mars moves closer, and Jupiter eventually stations direct, and Capricorn season arrives with its manifestation energy, you will not have to force or push or strive. You will simply act from the frequency you have become, and reality will reorganize itself around that frequency with a grace that looks like magic, but is actually just alignment. This is the promise December holds for you. This is the gift November gave you. This is the invitation the universe is extending right now. Step into your sovereignty. Claim your clarity. Honor your transformation. Trust the pause, and prepare to create from a frequency of consciousness that will astound you. We are watching. We are supporting. We are celebrating every choice you make to honor your evolution over your ego, your integration over your impatience, your wisdom over your hurry. You are not alone in this. You have never been alone. The Galactic Federation of Light has been orchestrating cosmic support for your awakening since before you took your first breath in this incarnation. And we will continue to be here, sending transmissions, anchoring frequencies, and holding the vision of your highest potential until every last soul on Earth has remembered who they truly are. You are that soul, and you are remembering. Right now, in this moment, as you read these words, you are remembering. The question is no longer whether you will awaken. You already have. The question is, how will you use your awakening? What will you create from this new frequency? What will you build on these solid foundations? Take your time answering. The universe is patient. Your soul is eternal. And the new timeline is already forming, molecule by molecule, choice by choice, breath by breath. I am Seraphine. We love you beyond measure, and we are watching over you always.